Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi, people.
Yeah, I am still working on my commands, so I will upload it in a bit.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Hi,
Janky.
As usual, I tend to agree with Peter. I'm also working on my comments.
Well, I decided I hadn't got time to work on my
Yeah, same.
before our meeting this morning, so I did look.
Yeah.
I looked quickly at it last night. I have the odd general comment, but I thought I'd wait till after today's meeting.
Notice one thing that according to Dennis's instructions for the publication, we are at the upper limit of size.
Yeah.
Maybe one should try to condense a little bit.
I thought one or two bits could be shrunk a little bit. It was slightly repetitive, but I mean, it is quite long, but we always knew this one was going to be big because it's the meat of everything, the modeling. Anyway, here's Dennis too.
Dennis, good morning. Or good day, I don't know. Dennis is silent for the moment.
Hello, I'm here.
No, you're here. Hello.
Just don't want you to be too envious of my slice of coffee cake.
Oh. You just don't want to make us all envious with this constant supply of cake.
Various buns and cakes, there's various recipes as well.
Oh, we went some weeks without them, but our doctor in residence made this at week early in the week.
Sounds good.
We'll all be making cakes as we celebrate the finishing of this paper. Right?
I'm probably about to get overcaked at the weekend because it's our triple birthday tomorrow.
So when you say our, that is it yours?
Our son, much to our son Charlie's disgust, our grandchildren twins were born on his 23rd birthday.
Oh,
Okay.
Rather stole his thunder.
Yes.
We keep telling him it's an excuse to continue behaving like a much younger person on his birthday.
I guess as long as you don't mix up the gifts, it's okay.
Oh, I don't know. There might be, especially as they get a bit older, he could quite enjoy that.
So how is this review going then? Peter and I have already stated, as well as Valerie, that we are a little bit not ready yet.
Well, I think Glenn's just joining us, so Glenn will knock us all into shape, no doubt.
He should.
Hi, folks.
Morning.
Hi there.
How is everyone this morning?
Feeling guilty.
Yeah, we need another week, Glenn.
Yeah, well, I was wondering whether we didn't just say that
Would it be worth just sort of sharing overall impressions and trying to decide what we actually need to do in that further week?
Yeah, possibly.
Also the question of output of this further week, in the sense that
exactly,
should we each kind of edit the paper, and so each one has his version, and then somebody tries to look at how many are we? 7 versions of the paper.
Yeah.
Or should we try to leave the text alone and comment from the outside? So one just has to merge the comments, like take away section 6.3, add this to section 6.1, etc. And then somebody puts all that together.
Yeah, I quite liked your idea, that second idea that I think was yours, that we all kind of review it and then and then we try and put the comments together. I mean, I'm happy to try and do some sort of reconciliation of the comments.
Because I'm afraid it's kind of difficult if we just have 7 versions of the paper. Decide how to merge those can be quite difficult. While just working with comments, we can see does a majority want to delete this section? Okay.
Yeah.
Delete this section. Let's say.
Yeah. So yeah, I quite liked your idea of a kind of like almost looking at it, you know, as a fresh thing, as a review almost. Just what our what our impressions are, what we think's missing.
Jasmina.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, I think if we need if we're going to take an overview, we need some sort of agreement on the overview, because then maybe we could go back in 1s and 2s to improving individual sections. So your general view might be that authors A and B should have a go at section 3, because section 3 has got certain faults we all broadly agree, or certain extra things we all broadly agree ought to be mentioned, but then it should be left to 1 or 2 people to actually do the rewrite.
Yeah.
Unless you're offering to rewrite the whole thing in the light of comment.
Well, I thought so. I suppose what I was thinking was that if we all kind of made comments and there'd be some sort of reconciliation of those required, and then we could divide up the sections again, work on the sections again after that.
I suppose having looked at it very briefly last night, an obvious comment is that 6.1 is very long compared with the other sections.
Yeah.
So, you know, does that matter? Do we want to try to break it down in some way? Also, it has a summary at the end, which seems a bit odd and out of place.
Yeah, I thought I nearly moved the summary to the very end.
I want to say I'm really sorry. This week I was meant to be on some of it on leave. I haven't managed to take any leave yet, as it's Friday. So I was planning to take some leave today, and at the moment I'm double booked for 3 meetings between 10 and 11. So this is the situation of trying to balance things and have time off. I added 4 points on which I plan to expand around the vaccination, the emerging questions, and I just put them in at the bottom of the 6.2 in the merge document and saved it under JPG brackets 6.2 changed.
Okay.
I haven't, in reality is that I need to kind of think a little bit about this, because I submitted a paper on vaccination to the BMJ and they rejected it. And so before I submitted somewhere else, I am rethinking how I kind of structure the vaccination from 2 weeks ago when I wrote that paper to now. And then aligned with that, I'm thinking about what I say here for vaccination and what I say in the intervention paper. So I just need to think a little bit about this, and I'm happy to work with sort of drafting this, but I just needed more time. Sorry, sounds like an excuse, but it's kind of, there is a reason for it. So in that sense, I don't think there's anything there to look at. I started reading through it, and I didn't read all of it, but I am planning to read through it and then sort of structure this part based on the others.
Sounds good.
So in a sense, I was going to say that if I can be excused from this meeting and I'll do the vaccination, I will have, well, in theory, I will be on leave, but I will go to the other 2 meetings that are overbooked for 15 minutes each.
I'll then try and take the rest of the day off.
I mean, Mariam will be annoyed if I don't appear on the intervention one at 2 o'clock. So I'll try to just appear on that a little bit and give the same excuse. But Rana and Ghana and I talked, so we are sort of on top of what's going on there. It just sort of But if somebody needs something urgent from me right now, please do tell me.
I think you're good.
Good. All right. Speak to you more properly next Friday then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, it's strange. I mean, instead of suffering of COVID, we seem to be suffering more of some kind of online overload. It's
Yeah.
strange consequence.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that there's still quite a bit of work to do on many of the sections, but given if we are trying to work to a sort of timescale of beginning of March for a draft, then we probably just need to take a step back now and
Yeah, that only gives us 1 more week, actually.
yes, exactly. It's not very long.
February is very short.
February is horrible. Yes.
Well,
don't
you
know,
could
it's- I
be
mean,
more
it's
optimistic
2 or
and say
3
10
days, but it was
or something like that, but not. So how many? 28 only, right? It's 21. It's an odd year. So you're right. 7 days. Or 8, 9 days. Yes, I don't know if the best thing we can do is do this kind of review and then try to, because I'm quite convinced that most of good ideas are there by now. I mean, there's a lot of things written and ideas and
Yeah.
points. So the question is, well, sorting out duplicates and then maybe selecting the best if you think that the text is too long. Is it too long, effectively, or will that depend on the content at the end? Because we are near this limit of 6,000 words. Right now we are 5,900 something.
Yeah.
And we don't have a discussion yet,
Right, no discussion.
but we do have some comments and things that will come out.
Yeah, there's quite a few comments, and also I think probably some things could be expressed, in less words, probably. I mean, well, that's what I normally find.
I think there is a bit of duplication too. I don't know how much difference it will ultimately make.
Well,
I think for me, the
should
other
avoid-
thing,
we should avoid duplication in the paper. Then we have duplication between papers, which
Yeah.
is higher level matter.
yeah,
Yes, it was
I think
William
that's-
I was thinking of, but yeah.
I also think the other thing that when people are reviewing, I think it'd be good to maybe suggest references if something springs to mind, because I think that's one of the things that's missing at the moment. There aren't that many references in all the sections anyway. Some are quite well referenced.
Of course, that's a way of making it shorter, isn't it? To use the style of references that I absolutely hate, which is to be totally uninformative by just having a little superscript or something. But it does shorten things a lot.
But maybe we could help by effectively writing down in clear the references so that we have them collected already.
Yeah.
Just write out the proper citation, I mean, somewhere at the end of our comment, so we have them ready.
Yeah, that would be quite useful.
Because I don't know, was it Valerie who said you couldn't find the Tom's reference from Med Archive and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, that was a bit. Well, I just sort of,
Yeah.
did the
No,
link. I didn't get any.
I then searched for it and I found the paper. And
But did you get it with that address, or did you?
yes, I got it.
It was
from that
correct.
address, yes.
Okay.
That maybe the address was kind of folded on 2 lines.
Yeah, I'll check again.
But things like that, I mean, if we kind of write out in text these references that we would like to put in, then we have them ready. You can just make the reference section.
We don't all want to do all of them, so should we do it by section or something?
I was just working on adding them at least in the comments.
Yeah,
that's already of help. I mean, if each one who kind of has a connection to a section at least writes down the references that person wanted.
In what format do we want the references then?
Well, that can be fixed afterwards. I mean, if we have name, year, and then title, and then journal, or if we have the year at the end and stuff like that, that can be corrected at the end. Because I don't know what Epidemics likes, if Epidemics has a specific format at the end. But I mean, formats mostly differ from what place things have. I mean, the same information is around.
Well, you can see in the 2015 volume what the format was, at least then. We did have the informative style of giving name and year in the text.
Okay.
I think it'd probably be good to be consistent across the volume. Maybe once we've had our training for editors, we'll have this and a few other points to ask the people coordinating all the papers so that we all take the same approach.
Well, I assume that by and large, most people would prefer the informative style.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would rather increase the word limit by 5% than do without, really.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the limit is fairly arbitrary anyway. And if we agree that question of whether you can ask whether the references are included in the word limit, and whether if you have figures, a figure should be costed at the number of words it displaces and all this kind of fine detail. I don't think, I think given that the thing is appearing online, we don't really have to worry too much about that, as long as people don't too much play the system by,
Well, I think we were aiming for not having superfluous references anyway. We weren't going for the style where you fling everything that you can find on a search.
Yeah.
With that.
No, I think that was definitely what we agreed for the previous volume. Just because when you're trying to cover big fields here, you could probably give each paper several hundred references if you took time to think about it and bunged in everything that was relevant. So I think we're trying to go to the opposite extreme of just giving key references that really are substantially relevant to the point we're trying to make. Because I think we said 30 references last time, didn't we?
Oh, I don't remember. Yes,
That's
maybe.
fine.
I mean, it was certainly, the idea was that you only had 1 or 2 references per challenge. It's just.
I don't know how far people stuck to that, but it was just as an indication.
There's a paper I've got open here which has got like nearer 40, but that sort of order. Like from the challenge.
Yeah.
There's some examples on page 11 of the, what's this, guidance for authors, I think.
Oh, you are good.
About reference stuff.
All this.
Well, I had to read it for the other one. So. They give some examples, but it's not super clear. Bottom of page 11.
Very long instruction sheets.
One of my favorite things. I mean, I think at the moment, if we just sort of roughly copy the style of the 2015, I think that's probably.
Yeah.
And it won't matter too. I'm sure there's an editor that will go through and tap us on the wrist if we get it slightly wrong and put one more author in than we're meant to or something. And they look fairly standard styles.
Okay, but this is the references. I thought that would be the easy part to kind of analyze.
It's a nice win.
The format of references.
Yeah.
But do we think that the way of the best way of kind of getting a final paper is this, that we try to comment on the same version, the version that now is online. Is it online, by the way? Yesterday I didn't find it in Dropbox, but you had enclosed it in your letter.
Yeah,
email.
it is online, but it's maybe not that obvious because it goes at the bottom
Ah, okay.
of all the others. I might change the name just so it appears at the top of the list. That'll be helpful.
Okay, that's maybe why I didn't see it in the Dropbox. But anyway, if we all refer to that version, is it okay for everybody? And then we try to write our suggestions how to change it.
Yeah, are we accepting Jasmina's
Yeah, I think so.
suggestion? So why don't you change the numbering so it starts with 6, if necessary, with a few zeros after to make it come at the top.
Yeah,
And put Jasmina's version prominent like that.
Let's see how it looks.
I have them ordered by date anyway, so
Yeah, same.
it's not relevant.
Good.
Do we need the individual sections prominent in the Dropbox, actually?
we could probably move those to the archive.
Yeah, I was thinking perhaps one could tidy them into a little subfolder in the archive, which could just be called 6.
Is
6
there not one already?
6 bits, whatever the date is, 19 Feb.
And there is a chapter 6 modelling subset in the archive. Are you suggesting well, it is very long though. I mean, it's got lots in it. So are you suggesting we have a subfolder within that?
You have a subfolder within that, I think. I mean, yes, I mean, I think it's, yes. It doesn't matter how complicated the archive gets, as long as it's complicated in a helpful sort of way, so.
Yeah.
But I'll leave you to do that, Glenn, if you're doing renaming, so.
Yeah.
That'd be good. So do we want to set any deadlines to start doing things or change doing things between now and next Friday? Or is it just
I don't know what people feel, really.
Well, we only have one more session before we have to send off the first draft. So
Lisa is a
We
hard
should-
taskmaster.
so we should probably
I
work
was-
to that.
I was interpreting, beginning of March,
it could be.
Oh, did it say
Well,
beginning? Okay, I misread that.
How about, I mean, does it help if we set a deadline for end of Wednesday for, if possible, for comments, if Glenn's thinking of trying
Yeah.
to do a bit of synthesis for us, if you had some time, would you have time next Thursday to look at it?
Yeah, I think next Thursday morning I've got a bit of time to.
So if we try to, I mean, yeah, if we try to make comments, if possible, by late Wednesday, of course, that doesn't, it's not a legal requirement, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
But
Or, well, put it
If we
another
do
way.
that, then that means that Glenn could do a little bit of looking at it and, if necessary, banging our heads together, saying, look, guys, you're going in 2 different directions, or I'm getting the same, you're trying to put the same stuff into 3 different sections, or whatever.
Yeah. So I will have a go at it Thursday morning, and then whoever's made comments by then, and then we can discuss Friday.
Okay.
And I think in terms of how people do it, if you want to comment on the same version, or you just want to create a version that you comment on, and if you feel like you want to, write sentences, you should just do that, but just do track changes. So I'm happy with either. I think it's whatever works for you, really.
What I mean, this at the moment, well, I'm looking at the one that you circulated yesterday, but I mean, it's still got it's certainly got the comments. Has it certainly? No, okay. It hasn't got the old track changes in, but it has got quite a lot of bits and pieces in there. Is it going to be a bit tedious for you trying to sort out the new ones from the old ones?
So on the version that's on the Dropbox now, I've just accepted all the changes.
Ah, okay.
So there's still comments which I've left in, which I think are helpful, but there shouldn't be any track changes.
Right. Because I wasn't sure, looking quickly last night, whether the comments still applied, or whether in some cases action had already been taken.
I mean, I suppose one thing we could do now is just quickly go through them.
I think that would be helpful, because then we can look at it as like a complete document.
Yeah, okay. So shall I?
So which?
Shall I share my screen and we can just go
Yeah.
through them?
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea,
Yeah.
because then you can do it. Absolutely.
Okay. So I take it you can all see.
Yep, that's good.
So I think reference ones could stay because.
Yes, because we can just.
Yeah.
We'll just find the complete reference and then that's it. Okay, do we like RE or RT? That's a basic question when we talk about that R.
I think in most of the papers, people have been using RT, haven't they?
Yeah,
I
I think we had this discussion in the R0 paper, didn't we? And we came down in favour of RT.
It's even what they say on the news in Italy. I don't know about the news in Britain, but they effectively say RT now and then.
In the Netherlands, they just say R and they don't care.
Yeah,
And in Sweden as well.
Yeah, it's pretty much
RT.
So yeah, we'll accept RT. This is just a comment about moving some stuff, so we can get rid of that.
Yeah.
I had a other question which I already was making when we are talking of HIV and SARS. Should we then also replace COVID-19 by SARS-CoV-2?
Probably, yeah. I think, yeah.
Throughout the paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that in a minute.
Yeah, is that, Valerie, do you think that's something we should that should be consistent across the volume?
Well, the problem is whether the thing refers to the virus or the disease.
Exactly.
And the pandemic is both, effectively. You could have the pandemic of a disease or of the virus, depending on symptoms. Other cases, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't care too much about it, but since we also refer to HIV and not AIDS.
Yes, you're right.
I mean, ideally, when we're specifically talking about the virus, we should use the SARS-CoV-2 thing, shouldn't we? But with it, as you say, when it's disease, then COVID-19 is probably.
Then maybe it's better to say the AIDS pandemic, because that's what media caught on. I mean, that was the spread of AIDS, not so much the HIV.
I think we're just talking about the pandemic generally. I think COVID-19 is the.
Yeah.
I mean, there are options there, all capital letters and all the rest of it. But
yeah.
Again, it would be nice to be consistent across the papers, maybe. But I think.
I mean.
So we're saying, sorry, so just to get straight in my head. So we're saying that we just use SARS-CoV-2 when we're specifically talking about the virus.
Yes, I think that coincides also with the most popular word in other media. I mean, if I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about media in Italy, they say COVID all the time, except for one or two virologists when they pronounce it. So then they might say SARS-CoV-2 or something.
Although we might want to think about how it would seem 10 years from now. Because I mean, I think the media now talk more about HIV than AIDS, don't they? I think.
Well, a lot of the modelling was HIV modelling rather than,
Yeah.
I think, rather than AIDS modelling, because somehow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, here the disease and the infection are closer together, I hope, than in HIV.
Yeah, indeed. Well, you've always got
If
your
in
long-
10 years we get all kind of sick people because of an COVID
Yeah.
or a SARS-CoV.
We'll be up to SARS-CoV-7 or something like that, yes, presumably.
Yeah.
But okay, let's check when we write whether we think that one should refer to the virus or the disease.
That first comment of Jasmina's that you were floating your cursor over. I think that paragraph's all right. So I wondered if that actually had been done already, but I wasn't sure. I mean, when we say,
well, I'm not sure that we outline a map for how our understanding can be used. We're not that precise in what we propose, I guess.
sorry, no, I was looking at the end of that, that paragraph, not the map. But
So
no, I agree, and I'm not sure. We're not trying with these papers. We're not trying to present solutions. We're trying to indicate.
Yes, interesting things. I mean, if we have a solution, we might as well present it, but I guess we don't have solutions to everything right now.
So we're happy to stick with that sentence and get rid of this comment.
It's a more cautious statement.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think I agree with that.
And this one, this is about tools. She's right about models that kind of have infection through things or common sources. There are not many of them. There might be some cholera models and things like that for water sources, but not so much. So certain tools are missing from our arsenal, probably. On the other hand, it's there's something about seeing models as tools or seeing models as thought frameworks, which is.
I mean, to some extent, that comment is covered by this paragraph, which talks about, models informing intervention, but also
the other way around.
Crises, the other way around. Crises sort of informing development and modeling. I don't know whether we should maybe add some examples from here, like the.
But how comes, I was looking at the main sentence in the paper, but during the COVID pandemic, modeling was widely used to inform. It sounds like if the pandemic is over, which might be the public feeling, but.
That depends how long we take to write this, Jumpy.
Yes, right. You have the good future idea.
I didn't think we were fiddling about individual words, but you might want to say is being used rather than just is used.
Is widely used, is being used.
Yes. is being widely used, something like that.
So should we? Well, I could delete the comment and leave this, I guess. Does that make sense?
No, from this discussion, I understand that the common discussion about each comment will take some time.
Yeah.
And there are about, what, 50 comments around in this paper?
Well, hopefully some of them are easier than this one.
Maybe, yes.
Well,
but-
I could leave it. I guess ones that are controversial, we could maybe just leave.
Yes, okay.
I mean,
Okay.
that's just, she's put one word in there, and
Yeah.
presumably we're happy with inappropriate.
Yeah.
At least for the moment, it might all get rewritten. Yeah, I mean, that was just a point that from the policy paper that I think somebody suggested should go in this
Well,
paper.
should we
but-
should I just add in here chapter 10.3 or something as a reminder? Is that what you meant?
I think that the point in the policy paper was that somebody was making the point about not wanting, a single ideal model, but that there was strength in having variety, because we don't have one all singing, all dancing model that completely captures everything. And we probably wouldn't want it anyway. But I don't know. So I think that thing was saying we're not aiming for one, we're aiming for a set of complementary models that between them do what we want. But I'm not sure. I mean, we've already got that in the previous paragraph
But
about
yes,
no single model can suffice,
yes,
etc.
and it is touched upon later down, I think, also many models.
So
We discussed between simple and complex
Yeah,
models in
yeah.
the philosophical section of 6 points.
So I think you could probably just ignore that and get rid of the comment.
But of course, depending, you could, since we have requires more complex model, comma, maybe several models, comma, etc.
I think it's more the link to the policy chapter, but maybe we just need to think about links to other chapters.
Yeah,
I think the policy chapter will probably link to this rather than the other way round, because I think we took out some of those points because we decided they'd been said here.
Okay.
yeah, and I think I put that comment in simply to
A
make
while
sure
ago,
it was
yeah.
said, rather than
Yeah.
to say, we need to add it.
Yeah.
And
I think we're covered now.
I
Yeah.
think it is already being said. So
Yeah.
So
Yes,
there are
everything. It links.
there are several places where it links to the data paper, but maybe it's better to say in the further down.
yeah. Oh, that was just, yeah. So that's just a reference.
Yeah, we'll
to add.
we'll complete the reference.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is actually, I have written the reference here. I can put it in the chat. Or actually it is
Yeah, it is the one with the
Differences.
moment generating function or something.
let me see. I put I just put a link to the publication.
That is where they kind of say that Euler-Lotke is kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'm being very stupid here, as, as so often, and trying to click on this link for this
This
reference
is shared. Yeah.
to check whether I could now get it, and wondering why the hell nothing is happening.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
happens
it
to
does
me all
seem-
the time.
For me, it does seem to go to the right place.
But it's a little bit a Pavlovian reaction. You know, we are trained. If we see something in blue, then we
Yeah.
click on it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think this can go.
Yeah, I think that's all out. Well, it may be that we can give the latest reference to the
Yeah.
PLOS
And
that
Yeah.
Jasmina's given a couple further down.
yes,
Right, okay.
to make it match with the second sentence that Peter has written, then I guess that Sturniolo et al. Have recently proposed a way to account for, since the next
Yeah,
sentence
I
says
think
that this
so.
is not perfect. In a
No,
way.
I think it's I mean, it is an approximation.
Yeah.
Yes, they propose a way to account for
Yeah,
complex
I
rays.
think that's fine. Well, you've taken that out, but wouldn't the publication reference be better, Glenn?
Yeah, I
Than-
didn't think I thought she just said it's appearing.
You
Yeah,
see,
well,
I agree. I was just really, it was just a
yeah, well, I'm not sure. I mean, you know, to appear or something, it's something,
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was just thinking that'll get sorted.
That paper actually still I still don't know where to add it exactly, because it actually shows some of the problems, not addressing the dependencies correctly.
which one? The Sturniolo
the-
paper?
And no, the paper by Muller and
Müller.
so which Glenn is now working on. It has the marginal distributions correct. So.
I mean, it's slightly odd, that sentence, isn't it? Because you're saying it needs to be developed, and then you're giving a reference.
Where it's actually not developed yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how.
Is there better?
Perhaps at the place where it deduce the correct marginal distribution of the number of other people an infected person infects, and
Yeah. Yeah.
because that is what they actually do. They do that part correctly,
Right.
but then they don't account for the dependencies correctly.
Yes, that will be a good place.
Yeah. No, that looks better.
I'm just going to delete that comment.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, so this was a bit where I thought it was slightly odd to have it here. So,
Should we just put this?
but I also agree with Lisa that it's odd to mention only the behavioural stuff. So
Yeah.
probably that comment needs to stay. If we. I wasn't quite sure what you meant in your comment there, Glenn. When you said folded it into summary.
Well, I just meant this. I think this came from somewhere else, and I've dumped it here now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, I meant, so I suppose that can go probably.
Should we move that chunk?
Should we put that in the summary?
Yes, just because that, I mean, the summary is not, the discussion's not written, is it? It's just a set of points at the moment. So. I just felt that needed a reference, but I don't know.
Yes, I could probably find one. I'll have to think about it.
I think that my comment can go. I don't think it's.
Okay.
I think it's an interesting problem.
Yeah.
Eight.
Thanks.
But may I just say, it's a strange title, Informing Surveillance and Pandemic Preparedness Through Data Collection. My reaction is almost, through what else would you inform surveillance?
Yeah.
I don't know, it sounds double in some sense. I understand the meaning. We must think about data collection to have the best possible information for. I think it's better that way.
Yeah, no, it's more, yeah.
Models to inform surveillance and preparedness. Okay. And then we talk about data, or else you call the chapter something like the importance of data for surveillance and but since we have
Yeah, so I think Lisa made the same comment actually. I don't quite understand why some of these comments get hidden.
I think it's when people resolve them.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's beyond my word skills.
But deleting is more helpful. That's fine.
So that means we can delete this one then.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I went through all of those and tried to deal with them.
That's irrelevant. I mean, that's left from a very early incarnation
Yeah,
of something.
yeah. I think that's probably all of them.
Oh, that's good. Look at
Do we
that.
think we can put the spare text in? The spare text that you had at the very bottom, Glenn?
Yeah.
Or is that going to be a longer task?
Put
I think
it
that's a
into
slightly
the
longer
text
task
somewhere.
because there's bits that. So there's some so these are, so we discussed this last time. These are kind of general points that I think we thought might fit in throughout this chapter rather than being a specific.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay.
And then
But we have to find the best place for saying these things if we still want them in. I mean,
yeah, basically, yeah. I think that's.
Okay.
And then this one's just literally, it's just a bit of random text that we might delete. But kind of relates to these. Okay, so I'll accept all the track changes that I've just made, and then that's the version that we can use.
Fantastic. Thank you, Glenn.
You know what? Thanks, everyone.
okay, so this will now be the news file 0219 or something like that.
Yeah, it's called 06 combined.
Yes,
Yeah.
2021 0219.
My version's still saying it was modified at 10:08, but I assume that the system will catch up at some point.
Yeah, it's same for me at the moment. Have you saved your changes? Colin?
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably because I've not saved them.
Oh, okay.
See? Yes, it suddenly changed
Yeah,
to 54.
Yeah,
That's
it.
good. So we're all going to read that and get some comments back to Glenn for
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
That'd be great.
We have been very concentrated on this, at least I have. How are all the other papers going? I asked the editors of the series. Valerie and Dennis?
Mixed.
Are they going well or?
Mixed, I would say. I mean, in the sense that I'm not really sure where some of them are. So, but some. I mean, the Lisa has sent the policy one off to various people to comment on, so that's ahead of this one. I think that's the furthest ahead. This one's doing pretty well. Estimation's a bit behind this.
Valerie, I think perhaps we should have a discussion, I don't know, maybe late this afternoon as to who should chase up which of the ones where we're less.
Okay, yeah. We've got interventions at 2 and I've got something else at 4, but in between I'm
just 5 minutes in between,
Yep.
maybe. Yeah,
that's fine.
would be good.
I hope to be this time. I want to be at the intervention, so I will read up on that as well. I don't know whether I should be on that or in any way, but
Miriam's
Well-
just emailed to say she can't make it at
Yeah.
2, so I don't know whether we're
Sorry, who has Miriam?
Miriam.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is she suggesting a
She's made suggestions on what we should do, so it might be that she's suggesting we skip postpone this week's till next. I haven't read the email in full, but it's she's put together the document with all the challenges together.
okay. So actually the action she's suggesting for 4 is very much like the action we're suggesting for this one, I think.
Yeah.
So I think she's suggesting we don't meet this afternoon, which gives us a bit longer to work on everything. Anyway, sorry, that's not really answering Janki's question. I mean, work's going forward, I think, as far as I know, in all of them. Some have continued as we've done by having the discussions, so we know what's going on. Others have taken that sort of offline, worked in small groups. So then we're not so sure where they've got to.
I'm just still optimistic that more or less the whole series will come about sooner or later, or at least a large part of it.
I think we're
7,
still
8
optimistic, yes.
papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did the data paper discussions go yesterday? Sorry, I couldn't come.
I think they were useful. Nigel couldn't join till 10:30.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So we had, but Ian was there, but had to leave at 10:30. So we chatted a bit to him, I think, and then had, it's this business of different groups or subgroups coming and going. We had some useful discussions about the EPIC thing and lessons that could be learnt from that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because the England and Scotland had gone in different directions on that, but that's sort of already happened. So one might be able to say what the effects of that have been in terms of animal outbreaks and handling them over the last 20 years. Other than that, I think it was very much people working on different sections again.
And Min came along, did he?
Min came along, yes. So more to add there, Ben, Dennis?
No, I think that covered most of what I remember.
Right, thanks.
Good.
Okay.
All right. So before everybody, or at least before Dennis disappears, do you want to fix a time this afternoon, since we seem to have the rest of the day clear now? I can do any time
Perhaps, I
before
mean,
4.
perhaps, for me, perhaps we should turn up at 2 o'clock
Okay.
and either talk then or later. But I think it might be polite to turn up at 2 o'clock in case there are people turn up for interventions.
All right.
Haven't heard
Good.
about it, so I should be there for 5 minutes anyway.
So see you then.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right.
Bye all.
For those of
Okay.
you interested in the intervention thing, Miriam has just sent a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're referring to, Chantal.
Ah, yes.
that she's
90
essentially-
years. Her mother is 90 years. My compliments.
Yeah.
Okay, so we meet next Friday, but we try to send something to Glenn by Wednesday. Have we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
A
Okay,
nice
ciao.
weekend
Thank
to all
you.
of you.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.